So today in the booth, we got Sarah Decha, the comedian. How you feeling?
Feeling good.
I appreciate you for coming through.
Oh, hell yeah. The studio is so cool.
It is a vibe.
Yeah.
Some people say this is home.
Aw.
Yeah, it's pretty comfy. I like it. You know, so I'm here, I guess.
Home is where the air fryer is.
Yeah, no spoons either. So where are you from for the people who don't know?
I'm from Sacramento. So
You up here your whole life?
Since like age 12, I grew up in the boonies, like outside of Placerville.
Oh yeah, out the way.
Yeah, all the way out. As an adult, I've been like inching more. Like I actually just got my first official Sacramento address.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Now you're a real resident.
Yeah.
That's tight. So how did it all start? Like, what's it like being a comedian?
I started stand up in June. So like 4 months ago ish. Yeah, it's what it's like. I really like it. It's really fun. Sacramento has a great community of like for comedians. So far, there doesn't seem to be a lot of like pettiness or like it's a lot of people want to support each other.
That's
like
cool.
they know that they need to put their careers in themselves first,
Right.
but it's not like I'm gonna backstab or screw them over. It's like we can all kind of grow up together.
Real stepping stones for each other. That's what I like about Sacramento's like whole community vibe because everybody's real brought together now.
Yeah.
Like before, it wasn't like that. Everybody was going their own way, doing their own thing. But now, in every lane you go to, clothes, comedy, music, anything, like everybody's just doing collabs.
Yeah, I think Sacramento knows is like our culture of like we're not LA, we're not the Bay Area, like but we have names here, like we have brands, we have people that can prove themselves to be just as good. Yeah.
So, do you have like a top 5 favorite comics?
That's a good question, and I feel like I should have an answer for that. Like I should be able to like off the top of my head. I mean, one of the most recent specials I watched was the Bo Burnham Inside. I'm obsessed with that. I have his songs playing in my head at any given moment. Let's see, who else? I think that I recommend Bridger Weiniger. He's a TV show writer. I'm just gonna be like naming like more writers than performers. Because for me, my favorite part of it is writing. Like performing is really fun, and like getting to hear people laugh and like see what works and like get that interaction with people is really nice. But for me, like crafting the joke, I'm sounding so pretentious. But like writing the joke and figuring it out and editing it and like changing it, like that's what I like the most.
How do you come up with your bits?
It actually happens the most like if I'm going for a walk or if I'm driving, so like my brain isn't like kind of focusing on something else, and then an idea that I've been like throwing around in my head will like just kind of the right way to frame it will come along, and then I'm in a writing workshop with friends.
Real community vibes.
Yeah.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah. These are all comics I met on Twitter. So
social media is real.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we're doing like Zoom workshops. Like they're all on the East Coast.
That's tight.
Yeah.
that's tight.
Yeah.
Get to plug in everywhere because it's some dope comedians everywhere. Like I think a lot of people know about the comedians on the East Coast, but they don't really know too many like West Coast or even like in the middle of nowhere comedians.
Yeah. I've heard like someone told me, oh, if you want to be stand up, you need to go to New York. If you want to do like TV or like industry, you need to go to LA.
Right.
But it's like there's so many stand up, like so many comics in LA, and I mean everyone from the flyover states I think moves to LA.
Yeah, that seems like the go-to for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not what everybody makes it seem. It's definitely not a good place. But, you know, it has its gyms, I guess.
I've been told, like, with more definitive advice and, like, more reputable advice was that don't go to LA or New York until you already have have like your 10 minutes, your 15
Mm-hmm.
minutes down, until
Something.
yeah, like until you already also have a bit of a name. Because if you live in a city where like a huge name, like I think, oh, who is it? I had a friend tell me they went to LA and were doing like open mics,
Mm-hmm.
which open mics in comedy are pretty similar to open mics in music, where it's
Right.
you come in, you put your name down. Like someone who was on tour, like an international tour with like 3 comedy albums, came in and like they wanted to watch the show, but of course the host and the producer are like, I want to put this professional up.
Right.
And they let them go as long as they wanted.
Mm-hmm. Take your spot.
Yeah, so they take your spot. And so like it's really hard to get stage time, whereas here in Sacramento, you can get stage time 6 nights a week.
Right.
Like
that's crazy.
Yeah. There's so many open mics, so many local shows. Great shows too.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I've definitely heard some stories where like out in LA at the comedy shows, Dave Chappelle or somebody come through and just wipe the whole show.
Yeah.
Like nobody else gets to perform that night. And I'm like, damn, bro, how do you even have that much stand-up time?
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine anybody going over 10 minutes. Like specials are cool, but it kind of, dies then after maybe 30 minutes. It all depends on who the comic is.
Yeah. There are definitely I've seen some specials where I'm like, okay, they could have cut like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But I mean, I even saw Mikey Winfield. He's from Sacramento.
Right.
He dropped in at a show at Laughs Unlimited like a week or so ago. I guess most of his stuff was established, but he was trying out new stuff and it still killed me. Like he was able to come up with like 5 new minutes or something. Like
that's heavy. I feel like you definitely have to be able to think on the fly being a comedian.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm really working on because like I remember my set list and I remember like I have a flow for my storytelling. So if I try to throw in something new, my it like jumbles my brain. I'm like, oh, where am I? Like, what is happening?
I get it. So like, how much time does it take for you to work on a bit?
I mean, I feel like I'm still always working on like even the very first jokes I did my very first open mic because I can always get a little better. But I won't do something at a book show. I'll like do it at open mics and like write on it. I'll usually practice them like in front of an audience like 5 times at least before I'm comfortable.
Yeah, before you even really want to get on stage with it, huh?
Yeah, before I really want to show an audience. Yeah.
How was your first time doing stand-up? What was the experience like?
My very first open mic was actually a Zoom mic.
Oh, okay.
So, because
different.
That was a big thing during the quarantine.
Right, yeah. Nobody could go outside. There wasn't any shows.
Yeah. And so because I met all these comedians on Twitter, a couple of them took their in-person open mics and then let like friends do it from anywhere. And it was really, really interesting because they were all people I'd known for a few months and like talked to almost every day.
Right.
And so when I tell them a joke, they kind of already knew me. Whereas, because I have a joke where I make fun of my identity as a white person. But when I did that same joke at an in-person open mic with comics I'd never met before, I could tell when I first started like bringing up like, oh, being white. Right. Everyone was kind of on edge, but like, what is she gonna say? Because like that could
could go so many ways.
Yeah, and so I realized I need to change the jokes for people who don't know me and know that I'm not about to say something like awful. It could be unfunny, but it's not going to be awful.
Right.
I'm like, okay, how do I make it like approachable for anyone?
What is the difference you feel like being Zoom performance and on stage? You think there's like more of tension, really?
It is different because with Zoom, the host's always like, oh, unmute your mic so we can hear you laugh, but then everyone still has it muted.
Right.
And so you're like, okay, I can see them laughing, but like, I don't know.
You need that sound.
And because I started with Zoom, and I heard like other comedians like, oh man, like virtual mics or virtual shows are rough. I was like, I don't know, like, this is good.
Yeah.
And then like, as soon as I did like in person, I was like, oh no, like this is so much better. Like you get the energy, like you're holding a mic, like you can move around because like I don't have a setup at home to like
No stage, no speakers,
Yeah.
no mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't get to walk around and really be animated during your set.
Yeah. I have I know some people who do have like a normal microphone for their at-home stuff, just because you got to get that practice and like
locked in.
Because when I was doing just virtual stuff, like I was moving both of my hands,
right,
and I didn't realize what a problem that was.
Well, yeah.
Unless I was like dropping, like a mic drop 30 seconds into my set.
That's crazy. So what's your writing style like?
So I will wait for like an idea to like really like come to me, I guess. And then I do a lot of voice memos. I'll just keep going off that one idea until like I can't think of anything else. And then I'll write it down, like clean it up, expand on it. And then I put it into like a Google Doc. And so that way I can like really like put comments in, like make suggestions for myself, try different things, like copy and paste different orders. I know a lot of comics, they'll do like traditional brainstorming where like the bubble method you're taught in school, where like you have the main idea and you branch off. I tried doing that and I need to practice that because every time I do it, I just come up with the hackiest material. I'm like,
yeah, it's not it.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not it for me.
I get it. That's like real program way of thinking. That's probably why, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
switch it up a little bit.
The comic who taught me that, like, he has good stuff. And like, but he's so much further down the line and has been writing comedy so much longer. Yeah, so like he can come up with stuff that way because he can make it funnier than I can at this stage. But it's frustrating knowing he can do it, but I can't.
Not yet, anyway.
Yeah.
You jumped in like at a really crazy time for anything, honestly. Like with the whole quarantine and stuff going on. That's a real... I feel like if you can make it through the quarantine, you can make it through anything.
Luckily, I didn't start until really like I was vaccinated. Things were opening up, and so like I can go to venues that require vaccination. But I know a handful of people who started like between December and like April of like early 2020.
The worst time.
Yeah, and they're like, I can't say I've been doing comedy for a year because like I couldn't do any. Yeah, yeah.
That's crazy. Why comedy?
That's just the way my brain thinks. I've actually annoyed coworkers because like if we're in a stressful situation, my brain is like, you deal with the awkwardness, you deal with the tension just by trying to make a quick joke, try to lighten the mood. Some coworkers are like, no, I just want to complain. I'm like, yeah, I feel uncomfortable, so I want to like I make a joke.
I get it.
Yeah,
it makes everything a lot easier.
Yeah,
honestly, when people laugh and are having a good time, you can fuck shit up being upset.
Yeah,
like real quick. How do you feel about the comedy industry overall?
It's really interesting. It's really weird. I get a lot of insights like from following people on Twitter of like I know like trying to get into like a writer's room, like there's the obstacles of like starting at the bottom and how like script coordinators or PAs are handled or treated, I should say. And then there's always the like needing connections. So it seems like there are a lot of the same problems you'd find in a lot of jobs. So it doesn't seem like there was like, oh, like in comedy specifically, there's this toxic man. It's like, yeah, there's going to be a toxic man in any industry though. Yeah. Like,
they're everywhere.
You're like, I understand. Like, I don't have to deal, because my day job is like a customer service rep. I'm like, I work for a great company. And so there's no toxic male, like, ooh, guy being creepy, like there. But
when you go step into the comedian life,
yeah,
there's probably a bunch of fucking creeps.
Luckily, the creepiness has been at a minimum, and everyone else has been like, hey, like, I want to let you know that wasn't normal, and like, they are fucked up. So I'm like, oh, thank you.
That makes me feel a little better.
Yeah. The local scene, at least, is good.
Right. And then you get to maybe LA.
Louis C.K.'s.
Yeah,
sucks. I loved Louis C.K.
Like, I liked it, the show.
I loved his show, Louis. I can binge it on like
For sure.
That he was the exact type of depressed that spoke to me.
Heavy, really weighed on my heart.
Oh my God. And like even his, like watching his stand up, I was like, oh my God. Like, yes, like it's so funny. And like, and then that happened. And like, sometimes I can separate the art from the artist. But with Louis, like I just haven't been able to.
Right.
Like sometimes I can, with him I can't.
I just wasn't expecting that from him. Like, it really hurt me bad. I'm like, damn, bro, now I can't watch Louis anymore.
I know.
It's the worst. I actually liked that show.
Yeah.
Like, I was excited when it came out, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is a good show. Really talks to me.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely fucked up on a real major level, but he makes light of it in the best way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like that so much, and he just portrayed that so well in the show, and then his stand-up is great too, but it's just a lot of actions he does outside of his work.
I know.
It's crazy.
Like,
what a guy.
Sorry for bringing that up. But
It's all good. So how do you do it, hecklers?
Actually, I haven't had any hecklers yet.
Oh,
like,
wow.
knock on, there's no wood.
Whatever.
Knock on it all.
Yeah. Surprise.
Well, because I guess I'm most expecting though a heckler at a bar show.
Mm-hmm.
But for the bars I've done shows at, like, I feel like I'm a little bit more removed. Like the stage is, I'm not like
there with the people.
right close to
Right.
them. And like I even told a friend at a mic, a friend had told me at an open mic, he's like, oh, I thought of like something dumb I would yell, but I don't want to be a heckler. I'm like, no, like this is a controlled environment. I know you, like heckle me. Like
Right.
I know I need that practice. Like,
it's gonna happen.
yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'd rather it be like I get that rep in of handling it now.
How do you think you're gonna deal with it?
I don't know.
It all depends on how the heckler goes, huh?
Exactly. Yeah, I can. Also, sometimes I can be a little like accidentally mean in conversation. So I'm like, I don't know if I'd be able to tap into the fact that I am mean and petty, like deep in my heart.
You just don't want to admit it to yourself.
Yeah, like I know I am. Like, ooh, I'm kind of a bitch. I just like there's a lot of like layers over it. I'd want to be able to tap into that, but also like make it funny, but then also make it like be quiet. Like I don't want to like encourage them.
Right.
Like shut it down.
Because if you get one guy going, then everybody else who had 7 beers is gonna turn up.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's definitely funny seeing how comedians handle the hecklers, though. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny when they roast them. Like, that's better than them kicking them out.
Yeah.
It really adds on to the show. It's just, I don't know. I can't remember his name. Some ginger guy with glasses, but he deals with hecklers so well. Like he has a whole YouTube for just
nice.
when hecklers fuck up his performance, and it's the greatest thing ever.
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, I'll get it to you. I gotta remember his name. What really makes you laugh?
I really like something that's more absurd or like really like if you watch like a show like 30 Rock, I feel like that show really captures it, where it's like I'm serious and then like something that like makes no fucking sense. I'm like, yeah, like let's go. Like there's a local comic who has a joke about, no, I won't get into it because I won't be able to do it as funny as him, but it's something that's like completely unexpected. Like, cause I feel like I've liked comedy long enough, and I really like writing and like writing techniques in general, like studying writing in general, I should say. That sometimes it's kind of easy for me to guess where the punchline is going. So if I can't, like that's when I cry, I can't breathe, like I'm just like
stressing.
I'm like bent over like on the table, like like they can get the ugly laugh.
Really going all in. Those are the good laughs. Yeah. Those are the ones you really need to get out.
Yeah.
The ones that hurt your stomach, like ooh. It doesn't get no better than that.
Those are the ones like I feel like there's like gotta be health benefits of like, okay, like that's cardio. You got like some positive hormones.
Right now. Who knows?
If I like it's exactly actually that hit me. Like I could die right now and I wouldn't even care. Like I'd be so happy. Like if this is how I died, A+. Let's go.
You gotta ask for better.
Same thing with good food. I'm like, I could just die right now.
Right. Yeah, I'm all good.
Yeah.
I'm full.
Every check.
Good. Yeah.
Everything's checked.
That's so cool. Have you done any like big shows? I know you're still new, but have you done anything like major big names on there? Opened up for anybody, I should say.
Not yet. Like I've done showcases where I'm opening up for someone who's really big locally and like can get on any show they want in the Bay Area too, like not just like local here. Like there's one venue that used to do a showcase and I think they changed the format of it. I'm not sure. I got to be on the same stage the same night as Rico the Great. He's, I don't know if...
Heard of him.
Oh my God. He is so funny. Like talking about work, like not, he didn't deal with hecklers, but like he stayed on stage the whole time just talking to the audience. Right. Like you crowd specifically, work. Like let's like talk about whatever you decided to wear tonight. Like
that's a whole nother art form in itself. Crowd work is so hard to do. Like people think it's so easy making everybody laugh and shit like that, but when you're actually like focused in on one person for the whole crowd, it's a different
But
vibe.
You make everyone laugh, even if they can't see them necessarily.
That makes it so much better. I don't even see this guy, and I'm dying right now.
Yeah.
That shit is great.
That's actually something I'm trying to pay really careful attention to people who do crowd work. Like, I want to involve the audience more.
Right.
Because, like, it should be a give and take.
Most definitely.
And so there's a few points where I know where I'm like, okay, I can, like, point out someone here, like, and I don't know.
What's the most memorable moment you've had on stage?
Let's see if my memory is good at all. Honestly, if I could see someone like kind of like double over or like cover their face laughing,
they don't want to show the ugly.
Yeah. And then there's a Laughs Unlimited, the club. They do like a writing workshop a couple times a month. I'll go to, and the guy running it, Ellis Rodriguez, kills me. Crowd work. But there's one time I was delivering like 2 minutes on stage for the workshop, and I got him to like slide down his chair. I was like, ooh, like making a comic laugh, like making a pro comic like lose it. Like that's it. That's the stuff. I'm like, I like it when I can make an audience laugh, obviously.
Yeah.
But if I enjoy the comics, like, cause they're like they've all heard my jokes before. They've heard my jokes 15 times.
Right. When they really laugh, though, that's pure joy. Even like a kid. It doesn't get any better than that, honestly.
It's like back in 3rd grade, making the class laugh.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I used to live for that shit.
Oh my God, that was the best.
That's so funny. What's the most embarrassing moment that's ever happened to you on stage?
Ooh.
You ever forgot any of your jokes?
A couple weeks ago, I'm like the last joke in my entire set. I did the punchline before the setup, and I was like,
well, now they don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm like, I still got laughs, but they're like kind of like a little bit like laughing at the situation and not the joke. I'm like, thank you guys. Let's bring our host back up. It'll be fine. Like, don't look at me ever again, please.
Yeah. I know I fucked up. I know.
Don't perceive me.
Yeah.
Like,
it's okay. You got the joke, right?
Yeah, like, you get it, right? Right?
Those are the worst. You have to explain the joke?
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, maybe that one wasn't a good one.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever stole one of your bits? I know that happens a lot.
No, I don't think I have anything powerful enough that's like someone else, because a lot of my stuff is very personal too. Not like observational, like, but I have heard a couple comics on different shows where I'm like, that sounds familiar. Like,
right.
Like, I just saw, like, a page we both follow just posted that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's not like an exact, like, they didn't like lift it word for word, but it's like,
might as well have.
How much of it is like, because also you could have the same idea.
Right.
And like, if you get inspired, like if you heard it, it may not even be intentional. They may have just heard it and been thinking about it. So I don't want to like accuse them of anything, but.
Right. I get it.
Yeah.
So if you weren't a comedian, what would you be doing? I know you said you work customer service, but I'm pretty sure you're gonna quit that eventually.
I hope.
And do comedy full time. So what would you be doing if it wasn't comedy?
If you look at my Instagram, you could see like in June, there's like a sharp left turn of like what I was posting, because I used the same account. Like I didn't create an account just for comedy. Maybe I should have.
I mean, it's kind of better that you did. You know, you got the traction still from what you were doing before.
My family and friends, can like all see it still. I really like to bake. I like to go on hikes. Like my Instagram is books Sarah Cats.
Right.
So I'm like I have a cat that I'm obsessed with.
I was so curious about the name.
Yeah.
I swear, I was just like, but why though?
I have
Book your cats.
I have 2 books in my car right now. So I was posting a lot of like I went on a hike and I like to be outside.
Especially since everybody was just inside for forever.
Actually, I started more over the pandemic because I can't go out and do things. Right. And also I left my husband in late 2019, and so it's like, okay, I live by myself, what
am I gonna do now?
Yeah, I don't have to be like, honey, I'm coming home late. Right. I can just go for a 2-hour walk and it's fine.
Saddest face ever right now.
Really? That was sad? No, to me I was so happy. That was
okay, good.
No, I love not having because I got married really, really young. Mm-hmm. So having to not check in with someone, I'm I can just go do what I want.
You're living your life now.
Yeah, not no offense to him, but
good guy.
Yeah, good guy, sure. But
yeah.
I'm really glad I left before we had to quarantine together.
Shit. The quarantine really canceled so many relationships.
I know.
People didn't realize how annoying their significant other was until they were in the house all day. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, damn, bro. Yeah, I get it.
Or wait until you're married for 9 years, and then you'll get there anyway.
That's a quarantine in itself.
We both annoyed each other. I feel like it's mutual, so it's fine to say.
I get it.
Oh, but if not comedy, I probably because I used to bake a lot more, but now I don't have as much time. I kind of miss.
You good at baking? Can you cook?
I'm getting more into cooking because with baking, it's I'm gonna follow this recipe, and it's not something you do every day. Mm-hmm. It's something I would do a couple times a month. One big baking project. But with cooking, I'm that's every day, and that's right. I don't have a lot of, I don't have a lot of family recipes like white people. You have you just don't have a lot of family recipes. We don't have oh, this is our repertoire.
Yeah, so more of a casseroles and hot dogs and stuff.
Oof. Luckily I've never had one, but I've heard of a hot dog casserole.
Oh my god.
I know.
What? You know what?
I'm sorry. That's we don't need to end we can end the interview. Do you need a moment?
That sounds so bad.
It's so bad.
Oh my god.
No. So I'm trying to figure out just
hot dog casserole.
Yeah, no.
What's a weird food combination you like before we get off of that?
Ooh.
That's so weird.
Weird food combination.
Hot dog please don't say hot dog.
No. Apparently it's weird. I don't really like ketchup. Not
me
much.
Either. I don't like ketchup at all.
So, but I really like mustard. But I've realized if you mix mustard and ketchup together, that's what I like to dip fries in. Because a lot of people will do ketchup and mayo. I'm the mayo just it's just goopy. There's no flavor.
I'm all good.
It's I don't need that. But the mustard, because the mustard is just vinegar and seasonings, herbs and stuff. Right. So it actually adds a lot more flavor.
Mayonnaise is more for texture, I feel like.
Yeah.
So you don't have a dry ass sandwich.
See, I feel anything that you do mayonnaise with, I can either use Greek yogurt or mustard.
Wow. Okay.
Not on a sandwich. On a sandwich, I would do avocado and mustard. But for tuna or egg salad, I'm doing a lot of Greek yogurt and mustard.
Interesting. That's the first. That's pretty interesting. Maybe I should try that. I've been mayonnaise gang my whole life. And I'm this is cool and all, but I just wish it was over already.
The mayonnaise phase of your life?
Yeah, I just wish it was done. That shit is the worst.
And so, that just means you have to come up with more material that would be good enough for that 7-minute set.
Right.
It's if in writing novels, it's called Killing Your Darlings. It's I don't want to kill off this character. I don't want to or scrap this character completely. Mm-hmm. But it's well, it's not good enough for the story, so.
Yeah, you kind of got to get rid of it. If you love it, let it go.
Exactly.
What's the best advice you'd give to the people, to your fans?
To my fans? Always be yourself. No. No.
Achieve, believe, achieve.
Yes.
That's the greatest advice ever.
Like for if they want to try comedy or just if you get an idea, just stop, write it down. Like I always have a notebook with me. I have my voice memos are like completely full. And then also because for being on stage, I'm like, you just can't really care.
Right.
Like you can't get stage fright if you're just like, well, I'm doing it, and like, what else could I do?
Exactly.
Like I may as well just go for it because
you're here already.
Yeah, like I can't just not try.
Facts. So what's next for you? What's next for Sarah Dutcher?
I want to start doing more shows out of town. Like I've done a couple Bay Area shows.
How was that?
I really like it.
Probably a different vibe than SAC.
A little bit. Like it depends where in SAC. Like there are some shows that could be like kind of comparable. But I'm working with like all different comics that, you know, instead of knowing every comic I'm on stage with, I'd only know one or two. So it's really exciting.
That's cool.
You know, I eventually want to go down to Phoenix. And Phoenix apparently is like
a real comedy scene.
Real comedy scene, yeah.
I've been hearing a lot about that too.
With multiple clubs. Mexican food's only okay in Phoenix, but
that's more like Tex-Mex, you know?
Yeah. Oh, although Tucson has fantastic food, but Tucson doesn't have a comedy scene, so I'll have to go to Phoenix.
Well, you go to Phoenix for the comedy scene and Tucson for the food.
Yes. Yes, it's a 6-hour round trip.
That's a major.
Yeah, no big deal.
Comfortable, get good food.
Yeah, I mean, it could be worth it.
Who knows, depending on where you're going.
Yeah.
Oh, you got any shows coming up?
Yes. So based on when we're recording this, I have a show at Laughs Unlimited this Tuesday, but I know this is going to be like released later. I have a show at the Punchline on November 7th. I'm really excited. The Punchline is a fantastic club. It's a lot of people going there. That's like their first ever comedy show. So it's like a really great room. Like you have pictures of all the comics that have been there. And there's like Gabriel Iglesias. Like that's something that sticks out in my mind. He was like the very first. Fluffy. Yeah, he was the very first comic I ever saw like a YouTube video of, and he's like the second one I ever saw in person.
My mom loves him.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's the go-to for comedy for her.
He's a sweetie pie.
He seems like a real cool guy.
Yeah.
He's a real big guy, but
yeah,
real cool guy.
There's more coolness. Like there.
Definitely more to love for sure.
No, I'm really excited for that show. It's a great venue. They always have great intro music too. So that's the vibe. And then I have like a smattering of other like bar shows coming up like throughout Sacramento, and then yeah.
Well, stay tuned for the shows, people.
Yeah, everyone come out.
Yes, buy your tickets now, maybe. Save it. Save the date. November 7th. Punchline. Sarah Dutcher.
Yes.
Appreciate you for coming through.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was so fun. Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Ooh, talk about perfect timing because the camera was just about to die.
Oh, nice.
Golly.